don't know. All right, so here we go. This is this single. They call it a single. I'm gonna call it EP. But here's these 3 songs of Rotoscope.
Technically, it's like a
Yeah, it's
old school
like a seven
single,
inch, little 7 inch.
like what they would give to like radio stations.
All right, the first song is the one we've already heard. So I've heard a lot about the last track, so I haven't listened to it yet.
There's that new metal. Needs to be in the Blade reboot.
Very garbage. I'm only happy when it rains.
I know that's what Metal Burb said.
I used to listen to garbage a lot in the 90s. I'm really excited to hear the other 2 songs on here. So I'm glad they put this one first. It reminds me of another song on their album. I don't remember which one it was, but it was the very sexual music video where it like started as very new metal and then like progressively just got heavier the entire song.
Yeah.
So to me, this doesn't sound like too far-fetched from Eternal Blue. Like,
No. Oh.
all right, here we go. Put this on they never make another Queen of the Damned movie. Verse had a very interesting play between like the 2 harmonies of the guitar and vocals. Reminds me a little bit of like Dan Tesseract.
Fucking there.
Yeah. Very 90s synth and her little vocals that were in the background there.
Yeah.
Which I think I remember saying that about Eternal Blue, was that it felt very 90s. Firelina, welcome in. How's it going?
I like how the riff turned back around.
Yeah. I feel like that's probably the least metalcore song out of all the SPIRITBOX songs that I've heard. So, not that it's a bad thing, just... Welcome in, Montana. This is the new SPIRITBOX. They dropped 3 singles. This is one I've heard a lot about. This is the heaviest the guitars have gotten, though. Yeah, she really has, like, honestly one of the most, like, perfect, like, singing voices. So I think they're just really trying to utilize that. She kind of reminds me of Sarah McLachlan sometimes. The fucking Arms of the Angels with the dog videos. All right. So we just listened through Spiritbox's Rotoscope EP or single EP. So now we're gonna review it. We're gonna take turns telling our thoughts and take turns giving our ratings. So, Jordan, what are your thoughts?
Ooh, that was really good. Jeez. Uh, damn. After that last track, that's kind of
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I don't see why people could be upset with this at all. It's really not that far off from Eternal Blue. It doesn't. I mean, there's a little bit of like a different tone to the first two songs, but the last song is definitely seems like it could have been something off of Eternal Blue. Like maybe
Maybe even before that.
honestly, yeah, a little like
It
maybe like Holy Roller era a little bit.
yeah.
Because I feel like the first two songs they felt like they kind of had like a little bit of like a like 90s early 2000s like trance and like electronica vibe, which I really dig. It kind of had like that a little bit of that like dark wave kind of a little bit like
Honestly,
type of
that mixed with like Rammstein, like it kind of feels like
yeah
a
mixed with like
Rammstein kind
that
of song. Like you could hear Rammstein doing that.
like Rammstein or like orgy, like that just kind of that vibe, which I really dig that. It definitely didn't lean too far into that. Like
Yeah,
what was that Motionless in White album that we did, Infamous?
infamous. Yeah,
Like how they kind of really had songs where they just like completely dove into that instead of just incorporating in the sound like the newer album, which this did, which I really appreciate because it keeps things fresh, not only just for the band itself, but like just for music in general, because that's not like really
yeah. It's
something that
not them
you,
just playing a genre; it's them mixing genres. It's them mixing and
yeah,
creating something new and different.
yeah, which is probably why they're one of the biggest bands right now,
Yeah,
just because they can pull different influences from things without losing their own sound too much. Because like even on Eternal Blue, like with Constance, like Constance was easily like the lightest song on the album, but there was still those like heavy parts with like the guitars and stuff towards the end where
hmm
they have their sound,
yeah,
which which definitely shows why they're so good because like not a lot of other bands can pull that off. So yeah, the mix I thought was really good. The snare was really good.
oh
That
yeah.
was really loud and front and center pretty much the whole time. Just the drums in
But
general were really
especially
good.
when they got heavy, it was right there
Yeah,
at the times
yeah,
when it
and the
matters most.
guitars were pretty. Uh, I feel like the first two songs they had more of like that new metal kind of feel,
Yeah.
industrial kind of like driving tone. Uh, More of kind of like using the guitar as like a synth, kind of
hmm Yeah,
more than just like a straight guitar.
and then but then the
But
third
then
track goes like right back to the Spirit Box roots. It's got that like the little gent kind of tone to it or progressive
yeah,
tone. Um,
um, the bass I thought could have been a little higher. It was definitely some parts where it kind of singled it out and had its time to shine, but they didn't have it mixed high enough to where it was like really bumping, not like that Chris Turner album.
yeah.
Honestly, if this EP would have had that mix, that probably would have been
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
like honestly like this the mix of this is kind of just like standard
Standard.
modern
Yeah, it's
metalcore
definitely
kind of.
not anything like crazy. Like it's
Yeah.
not it's not crisp, but it could also be kind of what they're kind of going for too because of how
Yeah, it's
that
more of like
industrial gritty dirty sound.
yeah, it's more of like just the song itself other than like the instruments on their own. But which I can get with it. So I'm not really complaining too much about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, really really good. If they keep going in this direction, I don't have any complaints really.
Yeah, I think it was pretty perfect. Again, having only heard the first song, I still stand by it that I don't think it's too far off from Eternal Blue. If anything, technically heavier than Eternal Blue, because Eternal Blue mixed a lot of poppy stuff. This is more just industrial. It's industrial mixed with metalcore, so technically heavier. It's just
Yeah.
a different it's a different style. Yes, the first two songs, especially the second one, um is more of straight industrial. It's got, kind of just a muddy guitar. It's very kind of basic. I think the first track was more of like a mix between the metalcore. It had that metalcore end to it, and then it dipped into almost straight industrial. Um, like I said, I think the second song is probably. I don't think there was really technically like a breakdown in it, or really even like a straight full heavy part. Because on Eternal Blue,
Yeah.
the thing about that album was every song, no matter how poppy it got, it always had a heavy part, to balance it out. And the second song on here didn't really have that, but it wasn't like a bad thing either, because it's just a 3-song EP, and I think it's set up that way. It goes from, like I said, it has a mixture of industrial metalcore into industrial, and then back to almost straight like progressive metalcore. Um, and I think, again, it's not too far from. I don't not expect this from Spiritbox. They have mixture of poppy vocals, metalcore, and they've always had that, or at least on Eternal Blue, the little bit of that industrial, very 90s kind of feel to it. And I think it was pretty perfect for a Spiritbox. I think this is exactly what they sound like. I don't hear anything negative. Yeah. Curious to see where they go from here, but other than that, I mean, I'm perfectly happy with this. What would you rate
Yeah.
this?
I'll give that a. Hmm. Actually, I don't know.
If it helps you
Uh.
influence you, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I think it's so short and sweet that I don't think they messed. There's nothing like it experimented enough to be different, but it did everything perfectly and
Yeah.
ended. And the
Really.
ending,
Yeah. So I really. Hmm. I'll go ahead and I'll give it a 9. I wasn't gonna go 10 out of 10, purely just because like it's an EP, and there's not too much to go off of, and it's not really like they're not really pushing themselves too far off of their
Mhm.
normal sound, and it's so they're not really like inventing the wheel, like reinventing the wheel or anything. So, but it's still really really solid. So yeah, I'll give it a 9. It,
um,
it I'll say it just doesn't get that 10 out of 10 for me, because on Eternal Blue, like there were those emotional parts. I didn't really
yeah.
get too much of the emotional.
The part for
So
me, I think, was the breakdown, not for how heavy it was, but it was mostly her vocals. Like I could picture myself like learning the vocals on that and like seeing it live, and I'd be just fucking patting my
yeah,
chest, like screaming those vocals with her. Like that part got me hyped, so I'm gonna give him a 10 for
yeah,
that. But yeah, so again, Spirit Box has not missed yet. I don't think, I think some people might be upset. Some people might get pissed off at the incorporation of different sounds, but if they do, I don't think they really get what Spirit Box kind of always was. They've always had their own special kind of thing.
yep.
Maybe they'll release another emotional banger and you'll go viral again for crying to it. Maybe, I hope so. Maybe Spirit Box will watch my video because they remember who I am. They tagged me in a thing on Twitter not too
I
long
mean,
ago.
yeah, I was listening to Chris Turner and like Ocean's 8 Alaska and SpiritBox at work today to hype myself up, and like I got to Constance and I just couldn't play it.
Yeah,
I
I still when I get to that song, it's just like, man.
was like, damn, dude, I can't play this right now.
So
But
SpiritBox
yeah,
just
yeah.
they're just something unique, man. I don't know.
You'll never see the color